do we require, why do we need to collect body fluids, especially in terms of mycology and virology? The main purpose is there are many fungi or viruses that will secrete into the body fluids, that will lay their presence in body fluids. For example, let me give you a classic example of CMV. CMV is a cytomegalovirus. This cytomegalovirus will especially resides on your brain. It is a virus that will cause brain infection. We have one more fungal infection which is called Cryptococcus neoformans. So this Cryptococcus also cause a infection to the brain. One is viral, one is fungal. Cryptococcus neoformans is fungal infection, whereas cytomegalovirus is a viral infection. Both of these infections will cause infection to the brain. So how to identify these infections? These infections can be identified by collecting body fluids. The major fluid that we will take to identify the brain status is CSF. So we will collect CSF via lumbar puncture and we will go for detection of either Cryptococcus neoforms or viruses or fungi. So that is why they have given a generalized experiment called collection of body fluids and secretions. What is the protocol? What is the procedure for collecting body fluids is the fifth experiment. Then sixth experiment is performing GLP in viral laboratory that you already know. So the same GLP, whatever GLP we are saying in the regular laboratories, we will add a few more additional apparatus on our body for protection. So that is GLP in virology laboratory. Then last and finally is our seventh experiment, which is culturing of viruses. So usually viruses will be cultivated in the egg. So we will use embryonated eggs for cultivation of viruses. Okay. So these are the 7 experiments we have in the lab. Just a second, let me mute. Okay. So this is your syllabus, students. So there are totally 7 experiments in your mycology and virology lab. Okay. So let me go with your first experiment, which is okay, second experiment, which is routine culture used in mycology lab. So let us proceed with this one. So how to prepare a routine culture used in mycology laboratory. So are you following me, students? Do you have any doubts like Shahrukh and Faisal? I can see hand raising symbol there. Are you following me, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, I won't take not more than I think 20 minutes. Within 20 minutes, I will finish this lab and you can leave. Okay, so don't worry. Uh, so coming
Okay,
to
sir.
this, yeah. So coming to this experiment, which is preparing routine culture in mycology laboratory. So I will satisfy all these points. We will discuss about aim, introduction, principle, materials required, composition procedure, results interpretation, clinical significance, and limitations of STA. See, students, no matter whatever practical it is, these are the common headings that we need to write, which includes aim, introduction, principle, materials required, composition procedure. So these points are general for all types of practicals. Okay. So our today's aim is to prepare SDA, Sabrods dextrose agar media for isolation of clinical fungus. So for isolation of clinical fungus, we are preparing this SDA agar. So this is the most common used fungal growth media in the labs. So the most common used fungal media is Sabrods dextrose agar. So Sabrods dextrose agar is a commonly used fungal isolating media in the lab. Okay, so um, on this agar, students, you will get growth. So this is how the fungus will grow on the SD. So depending upon the color, depending upon the colony morphology, depending upon the time it took for the growth of the fungus, depending upon the moisture conditions, we can able to isolate various types of funguses, or we can able to identify various types of funguses. If it is green color, it might be Aspergillus. If it is in yellow color, it can be Aspergillus fumigatus. If it is black color, it can be a Aspergillus niger. So depending upon the color, we can able to identify the fungi. Depending upon the colony morphology, we can able to identify the fungi. Depending upon the presence of moisture or absence of moisture, we can identify. So all these properties can be identified with the help of a simple SDA agar. So that is the major advantage. So SDA agar is like a golden standard culture media for isolating fungus sample. Okay, so this is how this Sabros dextrose agar looks. So either we can make a slopes or we can also make a petri dish samples. Okay, so in any way we can prepare this media. So Sabros dextrose agar, Sabros dexter agar is used for isolation of fungi, cultivation of fungi, and maintenance of non-pathogenic and pathogenic species of fungi. For maintaining pathogenic and non-pathogenic species of fungi, for isolation of fungi, and for cultivation of fungi, we will use this SDA agar. Okay. Then SDA, what is why it is called Sabrods? Because it is discovered, or it is made by a scientist called Sabrods. So Sabrod used this particular agar for isolation of dermatophytes, for isolating skin infection causing fungi. He has developed this particular media. Okay, his name is Sabrods. So that is why this media is called Sabrods dextrose agar. Okay, this was identified by Sabrods in 1892 for cultivation of dermatophytes. Dermatophytes means they are the fungi that will cause skin infection. Then, yeah, this is very, very important. The pH of this agar must be around 5.6. So only at this particular pH we can able to grow the fungi. So the pH of the media should be 5.6. Okay. So 5.6 is the ideal pH for growing fungal samples. Uh, you may ask the reason why particularly 5.6. Because whenever the body started decomposing, ketone acids will start breaking down. In the presence of these ketone acids, the pH of any dead organism will be around 5.6, 5 to 6. Okay, range is, so the average is 5.6. So fungi are adapted to grow at this particular pH. So their favorable pH will be around 5.6, and we must adjust the pH of the media to 5.6 for the growth of fungi. Okay, so that is one important point in SDA. Okay, so next, what are the chemical constituents of the SDA? What is the composition of SDA? The composition itself speaks the principle of SDA. Why SDA particularly allows the growth of fungi? Why not others? What is the reason behind this particular mechanism? Why SDA favors fungal growth? That I will discuss. Are you following me, students? Any doubts so far?
No, sir. No, sir.
If you have any
No,
doubts,
sir.
please let me
No,
ask.
sir.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. So my next question is, what are the properties that makes the SDA agar ideal for fungal growth? What makes it special? What makes it unique? So let us see the SDA composition. Uh, See, some points you need to remember that SDA only allows medically important fungi to grow. Not all fungus can grow in SDA. Keep in mind. It only allows the growth of clinically important fungi or the fungi that will cause infection to humans. It will also inhibit growth of contaminating fungi. That means it has something that can able to inhibit growth of contaminating fungi. So what is that something? That I will discuss later. Then this SDA also won't let the bacteria to grow on this media. Usually we will use this media for growth of bacteria. This McConkey, blood agar, chocolate agar, all those agars are especially for growth of bacteria. And bacteria can also grow in this SDA agar. Now we need to eliminate the growth of bacteria in our fungal media. We need to add something to this media so that this will kill bacteria. We need to add some bactericidal chemicals to our media for eliminating the growth of bacteria. So what is that? So far I said two. One is we need to eliminate contaminating fungi. We need to eliminate bacteria. So what type of substances we should use to remove these two? That we need to go. Then obviously in any media, there will be agar. Agar is the solidifying agent. So agar will be there in this SD also. Then as the name suggests, dextrose, that means sugar will be there in this media. Dextrose is there, agar is there. Then this media also contains something called BHI. What is BHI? BHI means it is brain heart infusion. So what is brain heart infusion? It is the powder form of brain and heart of sheep. We will take a sheep and we will dry the heart and brain of the sheep in the sunlight for almost 2 to 3 months. After that, we will make powder out of it. Trust me, students, the smell of this BHA will be it will be like a rotten dead body. It will be like a decomposing dead body. The exact smell you will get from this brain heart infusion agar. And we must use this because this is the type of environment that the fungus needs. Fungus needs this dead tissue components, because in this dead tissue components only it will have enzymes which are necessary for the fungal growth. To mimic that decomposing state, to mimic that the fungi is growing on a dead body, we will add this BHI agar to the medium so that the fungus will start growing in our medium. So BHA is one of the key ingredient for the growth of fungus. These will be the composition of fungi, and this will be the principle of fungi. So SD agar will have BHI, dextrose, agarose, some bactericidal chemical, and some fungal chemical, fungicidal chemical. What type of fungicidal? It should be a contaminating fungicidal chemical. Along with this 5, we must ensure that the pH of media is around 5.6. In these conditions, the fungus will start growing in the media. Now let us see the principle. So SDA media is comprised of enzymatic digest of casein, which is BHI, brain heart infusion, and animal tissues, which provides nutritious source of amino acids and nitrogenous compounds for the growth of fungi and yeast. So BHI will provide the nutrients and amino acids for the growth of fungi. Then it will contain dextrose, which is fermentable. So dextrose is the fermentable carbohydrate incorporated in high concentration as a carbon and energy source. So we are keeping dextrose as an energy source for fungi. Then we are keeping agar for solidifying the media. Then we will add antibacterial component, which is chloramphenicol to the media. So this chloramphenicol will act as an antibiotic, and it will kill a wide range of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. So chloramphenicol is a powerful antibiotic, which will inhibit the growth of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. Then last and final is cyclohexamide. Cyclohexamide is an antifungal agent. So cyclohexamide is added for further inhibition of gram-negative bacteria, and also cyclohexamide will prevent growth of contaminating fungi. Cyclohexamide also prevents growth of contaminating fungi, or clinically not important fungi will be inhibited by the help of the cyclohexamides. Whereas chloramphenicol will act as an antibiotic where it won't allow the growth of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. So this is the overall principle of SDA. So this is the composition and principle of SDA. SDA contains BHI that provides nutrition to the bacteria. Dextrose will act as an energy source for, BHI will provide nutrition for fungi. Dextrose will provide energy to fungi. Agar will act as a solidifying agent. Antibiotics will inhibit the bacterial growth, and cyclohexamide will further inhibit bacteria and contaminating fungi growth. This is the principle of SDA agar. Is it clear for everyone? Any doubts so far? Yes, shall I proceed? Any doubts so far? Silence. Are you listening, students, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm
Yes,
moving
sir.
for
Yes, sir.
very good, Anuj and Kaushal. So next, according to the textbook, so there is a small principle from textbook also. So chloramphenicol added in the culture media to suppress growth of contaminating bacteria, whereas cyclohexamide is used for suppress of contaminating fungi. Brain heart infusion, BHA agar is used along with blood and antibiotics for the use of primary isolation of medically important fungi. Then materials required. So what are the materials we required for preparing this SDA agar? We require SDA agar. We require petri dishes or test tubes, autoclave, weighing machine, incubator, buffers, and PPE. PPE is mandatory. So buffers means these will adjust the pH. We have acids and bases to adjust the pH of the medium. The overall pH should be around 5.6. And we also require personal protective equipments. So this is the materials that are required for preparation of SDA agar. Then what is the composition of SDA? So here in the beginning I said SDA agar. So this is a ready-made ready-made powder which is available in the lab, students. Directly we can take this powder and we can prepare the media. But in that SDA, we will find these particular key components. It contains these things. It contains dextrose, agar, enzymatic BHI, and chloramphenicol and cyclohexamide will present within this SDA itself. Okay, so it is ready-madely it is available, and the pH should be around 5.6. Okay, so this is the composition of SDA. The BHI is 10 grams, dextrose 40 grams, agar is 15 grams. So this is the composition of SDA. Then, what is the preparation of Sabrot's agar? So the preparation is very simple. So first, you will take 65 grams of medium in 1 liter of purified water. So you will take a flask, then you will pour 1 liter of distilled water. In this 1 liter of distilled water, you will suspend 65 grams of SDA agar. You have suspended 65 grams of SDA agar. Then you need to heat this flask. So you need to heat this flask for 1 minute with frequent agitation. That means frequently you need to shake the flask and you need to boil it. For how long? You should boil until the media is completely dissolving in the water. Until the media is dissolving in water, you must boil it and you need to shake the media. Then after boiling, you need to autoclave the media. Why we are autoclaving it? To sterilize it. To kill all types of microorganisms, we are going to autoclave it. Upon autoclaving, we need to cool down the media. We need to cool down the media to 45 to 50 degree centigrade. So after cooling down the media to 45 degrees centigrade, now we can pour this media in the test tubes. Now we can pour this media in test tubes or petri dishes. Then we need to allow the petri dishes or the media to solidify. Now the media will become solidified. In this solidified media, you can apply your fungal samples. You can streak the specimens, you can streak the fungal specimens with the help of heating loop, and you can start culturing your media. Okay, so after inoculating the media with this fungal sample, now you can incubate this media in 2 temperatures. One is at room temperature, one is at less than room temperature, around 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, one will be around body temperature and one will be less than body temperature. You know what is the reason? Because fungi will grow both in in less than body temperature and at body temperature. At body temperature, we will find one type of morphology, and at room temperature, we will find different type of morphology. Upon seeing both the types of morphology, we can conclude what type of fungus is growing in the sample. That is why all fungal samples will be incubated in 2 different temperatures. One is around 25 degrees centigrade and other one will be around body temperature, which is around 37 to 38 degrees centigrade. Okay, so such specialized fungi are called dimorphic fungi actually. So this fungi will show dimorphism. That means they will show 2 types of morphology depending upon temperature. In order to identify that temperature dependent morphologically changing fungi, we must incubate them in 2 different temperatures. Then last and final is some fungus will take more than 4 to 6 weeks for their growth. So at least we must incubate at least 1 week to 4 weeks. Okay. Even after 4 to 6 weeks, you are getting no growth, no fungal growth means you can give negative report to the you can issue negative report. So this is the complete preparation of Sabrot's agar. Very simple. You will take a flask, you will add 1 liter of distilled water, then you will add 65 grams of SDA, then you will boil it upon frequent agitation. Then you will autoclave it at 121 degrees centigrade for 15 minutes. Then you will cool it. After cooling it, you will pour this media in either test tubes or petri dishes. Then after solidifying, you will add the fungal sample. Then you will incubate at 2 different temperatures. Then you will go for detection of fungal growth. If there is no fungal growth even after 6 weeks after inoculation, then you can give negative report. So this is the procedure of SDR. Then results. Now, results will be depend upon three factors. One is presence or absence of moisture in the colony. Depending upon the color of the fungal growth and depending upon the morphology of the fungal colony, we will give the results. Okay, so depending upon these three parameters, we will give the results. Depending upon color, Aspergillus flavus will be in yellow color. Aspergillus niger will be in slight yellowish. Actually, Aspergillus flavus will be in green color, yellowish green color, whereas niger will be in black color. Niger means black. Okay, Aspergillus niger will be in black color, whereas Aspergillus fumigatus will be in blue color. So blue color, if you see blue color colonies means it might be Aspergillus fumigatus. If you see black color colonies, it might be Aspergillus niger. If it is yellow green color colony, then it might be Aspergillus flavus colonies. Not only this, we need to correlate with its moisture and colony morphology also. So together, all these three parameters will be required to rule out what type of fungus is growing in the SD agar. Here I have given only 4 examples, but this will be vary from fungus to fungus. Each and every fungus has its own characteristic features or growth features on STA. That much level depth we need not to go for the first class itself. That we can go when we are studying individual fungi. For as of now, you just remember that flavus will be in yellow green color, niger will be in black color, fumigatus will be in blue color, whereas Trichospora and mucoides, they will be cream color with mucoid texture. That is what they call mucoides. So these are the results. Okay, results and interpretation on SDR. So I will show you the pictures of flavus. So this is Aspergillus flavus colony. This is Aspergillus niger colony, where you can see black color colonies. Then this is Aspergillus fumigatus colony, where you can see bluish color green. This is yellowish green, this is bluish green, and this is black color. And mucoides will cause mucoid colonies. So depending upon colony morphology, texture, appearance, color, and presence or absence of moisture, we can able to classify and we can able to identify the type of fungus that is growing in the STA agar. Then there are few limitations even for highly specific media, which is SDA media. So what are the limitations does the SDA media has? So those limitations include it does not promote the conditions of filamentous fungi. Okay. We cannot grow filamentous fungi in a SDA. In order to grow filamentous fungi, we must go with tissue cultures. Only in tissue cultures we will get filamentous fungus growth. That I will discuss later. Then antimicrobial agents added in the medium to inhibit bacteria may also inhibit certain pathogenic fungi. Since we are using certain antimicrobial agents, they may also inhibit some of the clinically important fungi. So that is one drawback. The thing that we are using for the media itself causing a limitation to the media. We thought that it will inhibit growth of bacteria. Sometimes some important fungi may also get inhibited due to this antibacterial agents. So that is second limitation of SDA. Then third limitation is overheating the media or over acidifying media may result in softening the media. The media may become too soft. It is like if you are eating ice cream after half an hour, after removing from deep fridge, what will happen? Ice cream will become too much soft. It will become like liquid. The same thing can happen to this SDA media. If you make the media too much acidic, or if you are overheating it, media won't get solidified. Rather than the media will become soft like an ice cream, and it will be useless for the growth of fungi. So these are certain limitations of SDA. So this is all about SDA. So a quick revision of today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we discussed about routinely used fungal media. Okay, so one of the routinely used fungal media in the mycology lab is SDA, Sabbro's dextrose agar. So the today's aim is to prepare Sabbro's dextrose agar media for isolation of clinical fungi. So the principle is very simple. So SDA is used for isolation, cultivation, and cultivating and maintenance of pathogenic fungi. So since it is identified by Sabrods, so it is called Sabrods dextrose agar, which he has identified in 1892 for the growth of dermatophytes. Then the pH of this medium must be adjusted to 5.6 for the growth of fungal growth. Okay, and the principle is it contains BHA for the constant supply of amino acids and nitrogenous compounds. It contains dextrose for the energy source of fungi. It contains agar for solidifying agent. It contains antibiotics like chloramphenicol for the inhibition of growth of gram-positive and negative bacteria. It contains cyclohexamide for the inhibition of normal fungi or contaminated fungi and gram-negative bacteria. And the composition materials required for SDA include SDA agar, petri dishes, autoclaves, weighing machine, incubator, buffers, and PPAs. Composition of SDA include dextrose 40 grams, agar 15 grams, and peptone or BHA 10 grams, and the pH should be 5.6. Then the procedure is we need to suspend 65 grams of media in 1 liter of distilled water. Then we need to heat or boil the media and with constant agitation. Then we need to sterilize the media. Then we can pour the media in tubes or petri dishes. Then after solidifying, we can add the fungal samples and we can incubate at 2 different temperatures. The results should be taken only after 4 to 6 weeks. The results can be interpreted depending upon the fungal morphology, colony, and appearance or absence, presence or absence of moisture and color. Few examples include flowers will be in yellow-green color, like this. Niger will be black colored colonies. Fumigatus will be blue-green, yellow, blue-green colored colonies, whereas Trichospora mucoides will cause mucoid colonies. Limitations of SDA include it will inhibit filamentous fungus growth. It may inhibit pathogenic fungi because of presence of antimicrobial agents. It also becomes too much soft if you make too much acidic or overheating media can cause the media to be over soft. So these are the limitations of SDA. Any doubts, students, in this lecture? I hope it is clear.
No, sir.
See, since you have only 7 experiments, kindly buy a small record and start writing it. Let us finish this record writing within 2 weeks. So there won't be any problem. There won't be this record headache to you. So start writing records, okay, from day 1 onwards. I will provide this material in the group. Kindly start writing record. Can I expect?
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
sir.
sure. Yes, sure.
Sir, is there any fungus specialized area like in bacteria, Mycobacterium tuberculosis for lungs and like for urinary tract, same as in fungus also? Like
Yes,
some
there are.
fungus on hair, most
Exactly.
probably.
There are specific fungi that will target hair. There are specific fungi that will target specific systems in our body. Usually, Aspergillus will reside in the lungs. Cryptococcus neoforms will reside in the brain. Like this, we have few system organ-specific fungus infections also, just like viruses or bacteria. Yes, we do have such. Okay.
And sir, staging technique is same as in bacteria, bacterial
Yes.
department.
That's it.
Primary-
Same like bacteria. Exactly.
Yes.
The only thing is the composition of stain will vary, but the process will be same. You need to take a slide, you need to make a smear, and you need to go for staining, primary stain, counter stain. Sometimes there might be some decolorizing steps.
Different fungus produce different colors, sir.
Mm-hmm.
How? how different fungus produce different colors, sir? In USDA media, sir.
How different fungus will produce different colors? That maybe that is due to the type of enzymes they are utilizing. Maybe some fungus are particularly targeting lipids. At that time, the lipid enzymes might be in one color. If the fungus is mostly for targeting the glucose, then it may exhibit some glucose colors like green. So that depends upon the type of biomolecule it is targeting to eat. So it depends upon the type of enzymes that the fungus secreting. But that is a good question. I should go through it. Why different fungi cause different colors?
Because in bacteria there is most probably no color, I think.
No colors
Yeah.
in bacteria, but in fungi it is there. That's a good question. Yeah, I should go through it. Any more interesting questions? And mostly students, I will tell one interesting thing, what I felt about fungi. See, um, see, usually we have two types of cells in our in the animal kingdom. One is prokaryotes and other one is eukaryotes. We already know what are prokaryotes. Prokaryotes are our bacteria. The overall ATP, okay, simply prokaryotes won't have any cell organelles. That means prokaryotes don't have any mitochondria. That means there won't be any Krebs cycle in prokaryotes. Only glycolysis will happen. So the overall energy that is produced by a bacteria will be around 4 to 6 ATPs. Only with the help of 4 to 6 ATPs, the bacteria must survive. That is why bacteria are very weak organisms. Even though they are causing infection, compared to they are weak. In terms of energy consumption, bacteria are weak organisms because they will only generate around 6 ATP. Then imagine a fungal cell. A fungus can stay in single cell or multiple cell. Both fungus can present in both forms, either in single cell form or in the multi-cell form. Let us keep multiple cell aside. Let us focus on single cell. Keep in mind that fungus are eukaryotes. That means they have a mitochondria. And they are not at all using this high energy for nothing. But they have a very huge energy in their bodies. They have almost 32 ATPs in their body. Now, they can efficiently use this high power for digesting purpose. They need not to do much hard works like other eukaryotic organisms. Like we have multiple tasks in our body. We need to pump our blood. We need to respirate. We need to think. These problems are not there for fungi. So what it did is it was literally specialized on digesting the hardest material on planet Earth. The fungus utilizing this high energy, and it utilized this energy specifically for digesting. It has evolved. It has developed a very powerful enzymes to digest even hair and nails. So to me, fungi are the strongest organisms on Earth in terms of energy. They are the highly energetic living organisms. They are the only one which can able to digest hair or nails. There is no other animals. There is no other animals that have the capabilities of digesting this hair or nails. It is the only fungi that has this extraordinary superpowers of digesting keratin. Keratin, I can say it is like a bioplastic. Keratin is just like a plastic, right? Your nails or hair. It is just like a plastic material, but which is made up of biological components. That is why, my master's, my guide when I was studying in my college, and my guide name, her name is Dr. Clara. She has awarded PhD because she has working on a fungi that has capabilities of digesting plastic, the 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 plastic materials, polymers. If there is any remedy for solution of plastic pollution, means the only remedy is fungi. There are few fungus that are capable of digesting even plastic. You just imagine how rough they are, how dead, how no, how this they are. There are few fungi that can able to digest even plastic. So if you are going for any solution for plastic removal, means the only solution you may encounter will be via fungi. So fungus are really good at doing these jobs. Yeah, those are few interesting few facts about fungus. Any more doubts or interesting things that you need to share? And most of the fungus infections are opportunistic in nature. Yeah, so I think I was too scared you by saying that fungus is too strong. Um, what I felt through my personal experience on medicine is the more the complicated the organism, the easier it is for us to kill the organism. Do you got my point? The more the complicated the organism, the easy to kill us. If the organism is too much complicated, it will be easy to kill actually. You know the reason why? When we say it is complicated, that means it has many areas where we can target to kill it. Imagine we have prokaryote and eukaryote. In prokaryote, we have only a bunch of DNA, plasmids, ribosome. That's it. In a bacteria, we need to target only these three regions. We need to develop drugs only targeting these three. But in eukaryote, we have almost 30 to 70 cell organelles. If this is not working, we can go with this. If this is not working, we can go with this. If these three are not working, we can go with some other. But there is a possible solution for eukaryotes, but that is not possible with prokaryotes. Okay, so killing complicated life organisms is easy compared to killing a simple microorganisms. One of the simplest living creatures on planet Earth will be viruses actually. Viruses does not have any cell organelles. It is just a piece of DNA or RNA, that's it, and few polymerases. So having this narrow bandwidth is really challenging for humans because we have very narrow target for killing viruses. So antivirus therapies are really costly and really tough because they have less targets to develop drugs. Next is bacteria. Then next is eukaryotes. Eukaryotes is easiest form of killing them. And thankfully, our fungi are eukaryotic in nature, and we have a very powerful drugs for killing almost all types of fungal infections. But the only thing is, when we are using these chemical substances, the patient should be in a state where he should accept the chemicals. He should not be too weak. If the patient is weak, even water can kill the patient if you are giving at large quantities. That is different story. But 90% of fungal diseases can be cured with a simple remedies or with a simple tablets. We can able to cure from all types of fungal infections. Some of the fungal infections include candidiasis. Candidiasis is people will say in the women they will get white discharge. If it is in too much yellowish color, if there is any bad odor coming, that might be because of presence of fungal infection, which is candidiasis, and that can be identified. That can be cured by using tablets, okay, by topical applications like the ointments. So this is all about fungi. So don't worry about fungus; they're easy to cure. So next things I will discuss in tomorrow's lecture. So thank you very much, students. Can I end this session?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. I will. I will come.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hello. Yes, sir, I'm fine. Sir, shall I call you within 5 minutes, sir? I'm in class. Yeah, yes. Yeah, okay, fine, sir. Okay. Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. Please.